London Reels. Way better idea. Sponsored by Xbrain. Email is an important tool to be productive and communicate with the world. But let's face it, most of us spend our day looking at the top 5 lines of our inbox to see who has replied to us. What's the solution? Take your email offline. Shut down the rest of the world, and that way you can concentrate on replying to those important emails, creating proposals to send to new clients, or just brainstorming on new people that you need to contact. After 2 hours, let the floodgates open and you can start reacting to other people's agenda for your time. That's today's Way Better idea, brought to you by the folks at Xbrain. If you want to check out their Way Better protein powder, it's grass-fed, free range, and tasty as hell. You get 15% off with the code LondonReal. Click on the link below or go to xbrain.co.uk. Peace.
And do you enjoy the writing? Do you find it really difficult? Do you get the same rush when you're writing or publishing?
I don't get the fear, you know. I mean, it's that. I mean, how I write, I suppose. I mean, I'll designate a day as a writing day. So I say, okay, tomorrow will be a writing day, and I will sit in front of a screen until I've written 1,000 words, even if they are crap. You know, I might be able to sort of remix some into something later on. And hope that, you know, what writers call a roll, you know, I hope that a roll will kick in during those 1,000 words. Sometimes when it doesn't, of course, it's a depressing business.
And lonely, isn't it?
Yeah. It's got to be lonely, and you can be distracted. You've tried, you know, you usually sort of, you try to do the housework or something, you know, I mean, anything other than sort of face the reality of a blank screen, you know. But then when the role does kick in, and I find, you know, that, you know, smoking cannabis helps that sort of tangential thinking and everything, which is a lovely comfort. You know,
Yeah, of course.
when a role does kick in, it's one of the most enjoyable things in the world without that fear thing. It's not an adrenaline thing. You know, it's a very, very different...
You're creating something, you're making something out of nothing.
Yeah, particularly if you smoke dope, because you've forgotten everything.
You've been quoted as saying that smoking dope is it's forgetfulness is the germ of
creativity. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, can you explain that?
Yeah, because and I can give an example of it too. I mean, that is the germ of creativity simply because you've got nothing else to rely on, I suppose. You know, once you've forgotten everything, what can you do? You can't remember anything. You've just got to create something. And I think there's a parallel. I mean, I don't know. Perhaps you disagree, but. You know, during the 1920s, say, when jazz, you know, mainly performed by sort of black guys in the States, and they could play every instrument perfectly, they'd be able to play a load of tunes, but they used to be quite big stoners, and, you know, they'd go up on stage and clearly, you know, have forgotten, you know, almost, you know, every tune they've ever heard. So they had nothing but creativity to rely on, and that created the improvisation solo, actually. You know, and I think it was a fundamental component of that. So that's what I mean, you know, and I mean now it's an accepted form of music, an accepted form of creativity, you know, but a fairly recent one.
It's like sometimes I think I love writing. I write a lot, and I really, really enjoy the experience. And sometimes I've got so high that I've thought it's almost like I've kind of nailed the truth, but the side effect is I'm going to forget it. Like the higher you get, the side effect of that highness is that you're going to forget it, and you, not even like the next day. Like if someone goes, "Hey, Jake," and it's gone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's no way to avoid that. You see. You will forget some of them, but let's hope you remember the important ones.
But I think the more you think, like, you don't worry about forgetting it, because you always, if you keep an open mind, you're going to remember so much good stuff. Don't be scared that that's gone.
No, never be scared of it. Just keep doing it. You know?
It'll come through in another way.
It's a very important thing, that, actually, James. Yeah, you've got to keep sort of banging it out without wondering about its legacy or its...
and what it could be. Because it's nothing
or its
anyway.
longevity, is
Yeah.
This week on London Real, former MI5 intelligence officer turned whistleblower, Annie Michonne.
What we're looking at now is a de facto police state. You know, all the laws are in place, they're just not being applied to most citizens yet. I think it's not a case of having anything to hide, it's having a case that I have a right to privacy, and I can't guarantee my government will uphold that right, therefore I need to take the steps to do it.
She talks NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden.
He would die for his country. He wants to try and improve the way his country operates within its own boundaries and protect its citizens. And we seem to forget and think that human rights are a luxury. They're not, they're fundamental, and privacy is one of them.
On Sunday, London Real presents Annie Michonne, whistleblower.
So it's a very British mess, is the short answer.